Hello and welcome to the WIHS Journal, Public Affairs from 104.9. I'm Paul Kretschmer. Today and tomorrow I'll be speaking with a person who is an expert on women's finances. Her name is Jessica Weaver. As we begin then, I understand that you have issued a book that's entitled Confessions of a Money Queen, 10 Money Moves to Claim Your Power and Prosperity. How long had you been working on that then?
It's been out 2 years.
Okay, and what prompted you to write it in the first place?
This is actually my third book that I've written, and I wanted to showcase money in not such a daunting, overwhelming way like our financial industry does. I've been an advisor for almost 15 years now, and I've seen how much fear the industry places on our clients, and I want to showcase money in a more abundant light.
Okay.
As well.
Are these things that you learned on your own or and developed in your own personal life then?
Yes, on my own, also with different business coaches, money coaches, other advisors as well. So it's a very collaborative approach.
Okay, well, that sounds understandable. What would you say is the thing that people fear the most from money professionals or people in related industries that they should think about not fearing or not taking as seriously as maybe they're presented?
Sure. I would say, especially for women, is running out of money or having to make a huge financial decision by themselves and almost failing themselves by choosing wrong.
How flexible is life, in your opinion, that allows a person to change make course corrections and so on, rather than feeling like everything's either a yes, positive success or secure or not?
Oh, very quickly. And it's a lot of small things. It's not this huge, overwhelming, daunting change that has to happen in their life. I just had a new client, and she stopped smoking cigarettes, and she stopped eating out, and she found $1,000 a month in her budget. And it's impacting her health, too. So now it's her health, her money, her mindset, her longevity. It's impacting all different areas of her life. And she's in her 50s. She's a new doctor, so she started a second career, and she feels like she's trying to catch up. But within one session, she made huge, drastic change that's going to have a ripple effect all through her retirement.
That answer of yours prompts me to ask, how often do we have angles or aspects in our life that we think of as goddess when they are not necessarily need us or need to have?
I'm sorry, what was that?
How often do we mistake got to have things in our life as opposed to what we need in order to function?
Oh, all the time. And that's why my first exercise, we go through where all your money is, where it's coming in from, where it's going, where we're investing, saving it. Because, like I said, it's a small ripple effect that can affect all of your cash flow, all of your savings. And it's just reprioritizing where you're spending your money with where you want to spend your money. It happens all the time, Paul.
Is there a significant difference between the way men deal with things like this as opposed to the women, for instance, that you work with?
They have shown studies on who's a better investor, how do people manage their money. Men historically have been more engaged, more educated. They'll make decisions quicker. They'll take on more risk as well, just because historically they were brought into the financial education at an earlier age. So women have a big educational gap that they have to overcome, and they have the pay gap to overcome, and it makes us less inclined to take on risk, to invest our money. We take a lot longer to make decisions because we are having to overcome that education gap as well. So it is a completely different decision-making process, men versus women. And then you have couples, a man and a woman, and they're coming at it from two very different approaches, so getting them on the same page as well.
With those kind of structural differences between the two, then what, in your opinion, needs to be done to narrow that kind of gap so that women have an opportunity, good playing field to operate from then?
It's a good question, Paul. We start with the education and making it one more entertaining and engaging for women, that they want to be learning about it, and they can see how it affects not just their money, but more of their lifestyle, their families, their communities as well, making them feel worthy to receive the education, that they should be having these conversations. They should feel like they're contributing to the financial decisions of the household. Then they're going to be more inclined to take a riskier job or go for the promotion and start receiving more money. As they receive more money, they'll be able to invest more and get more comfortable, more confident as they invest and take on some risk with their money and building it out. So, yeah, definitely the education first, and with that's going to come a lot more confidence, more money, more investments, more wealth.
You mentioned earlier someone who had a second career in her 50s as a doctor. At what point do you feel is the optimal point to be developing those kind of skill sets and preparations for doing good money management decision making then? Is it as early as possible, or are there ways to retrieve a situation if someone has let some time slip by before they actually got engaged in it?
Yes. So the minute you start earning money, it's your responsibility to get educated and plan for it, and to give it a place in your world, an investment, a place to save it. So as soon as possible, getting your kids engaged at an early age. But it's never too late. I have women that come to me, a few years from retirement. What can we do to salvage this? How do I not feel like I'm having to play catch up? And again, it's small tweaks and changes and reprioritizing, refocusing, and looking at what are the trade-offs that they've been making and which ones do they want to stop making or make some new ones so they can retire on time. But it might not just be in their current house or expensive state that they live in.
It sounds like this is an important exercise that works the best when someone goes to someone else like you, for instance, as a way to get outside of their own head rather than try to do it by themselves or alone, subject to the same internal boundaries a person might have that they've built up and maybe aren't able to get past.
Yes. That's why I work with a business coach, because a lot of times, especially if you're in survival mode, and if you're just living paycheck to paycheck, you're in survival mode. You can't think too far ahead. You're not seeing that there are options. Usually you feel trapped and you're stuck doing the same thing over and over again. So when you can get somebody outside your head, when I get somebody like that, like the doctor we just started working with, I can see immediately, if they're viewing it as a problem, though, there's an opportunity right there that we can make a small change and have a huge impact on her overall wealth and well-being.
You have been listening to a conversation, the first portion at least, from Jessica Weaver and I here on the WIHS Journal. The book that she has written is Confessions of a Money Queen, 10 Money Moves to Claim Your Power and Prosperity, directed especially toward women. If you'd like more information before tomorrow's broadcast, call us at 860-346-1049, 860-346-1049, or you may send email to office@wihsradio.org. That's office@wihsradio.org. The opinions expressed are those of the participants, not necessarily those of the staff or management of this station. I'm Paul Kretschmer for the WIHS Journal, Public Affairs from 104.9 WIHS.